What's up, everyone on YouTube? I hope that everyone's doing well. It's me, Larry the Batman fan. I am back with another video. I've been busy with work, so that's why I haven't been able to upload. I can't upload every day, especially with all the work that I do at my job and stuff. So I hope that everyone understands. Anthony Chobot Does Pop Culture, thank you for that, for replying back to me and following up with the two top 15 videos. He chose to do a top 15 on his N64 top 15 games that he thinks is the best. Our opinions were very different on that. I wouldn't add a lot of sports games on my list because I'm not really into sports. Even though I get that reputation because I'm a tall man, I'm really not into that. But to each his own, So he had done his N64 collection, or top 15 rather. And he did another video, I think it was on the NES games, the original NES games. He did a top 15 for that. So thank you for getting back to me on that. I'm going to do one more top 15, and then I plan to retire this series. So just bear with me. And this was tough. Narrowing it down to 15 was very tough. I almost was like, screw it, let's do a top 20. In fact, I might even have 20 games here that I consider worth owning if you have an Xbox 360. So here's my top 15. But there will be honorable mentions. I have a stack of games over here to the left of me that I think are worth playing if you own a Xbox 360. So number one game, I have it somewhere in my collection. I can't find it for some stupid reason. Is Halo 4. Now Halo 4 was a good game and everything. Good. It continued the story of Halo 3 and the other Halo games, and it was really done well. And the shooting in it is excellent. The storyline is excellent. You team up with your American teammates and the one alien dude, take out the bad guys. The aliens, that is. It was really good. So that's why that's the number one game. Number two is Halo Reach. Again, also great. Really, there's like 5 or 6 Halo games on the Xbox 360, and this one I could have chosen as well. The only thing I've heard is that the ending really is disappointing to this game. The ending could have been a lot better, but overall it's still a great game nonetheless. I do recommend it if you have an Xbox 360. Next up is Gears of War. And honestly, I could have put Gears of War 2, 3, and Judgment all on this list. I honestly, out of all of them, feel like the second one is the best out of the original 3. Or the original 4, technically, because Judgment was also on Xbox 360. But for starters, this game is great. It's a good third-person shooter where you're fighting the locusts in the game and you're killing these locust characters. They kind of look like lizards, to be honest with you, that you're fighting. It really perfected the third-person shooting. I mean, there were games before that did third-person shooting, but they weren't as good as this one. Or they were good, but they just went overlooked. But this is really good. I highly recommend it if you have an Xbox 360. Alright, so we're on number 4 is BioShock. BioShock's a great first-person shooter for Xbox 360. Had some things going on with the water level mechanics where you're underwater, but you're still fighting these big daddies in the game and all these other enemies with like these buzzsaws for hands, and it was really creative. Plus it had like door unlocking in the game, which personally, I'm not a big fan of because I really suck when it comes to that. I'm not good at figuring out how to open the doors and stuff. It's really difficult for me, puzzle solving. So I get frustrated easily playing puzzle solving type of games. But this game is not fully focused on puzzle solving. It is a first person shooter mainly. Just that one part when you get to the door and you gotta unlock it. A lot of exploring in the environments, a lot of things to collect, health packets to pick up, and guns that you pick up from dead bodies and stuff. It really is a great game. It was originally exclusive to Xbox 360, but it later on got a port to PlayStation 3. But whatever console you get it on, it's great. BioShock 2 was also a great game, and also Infinite. I will defend Infinite and say it was still a very good game. Number 5 is Fable 2. Now, Fable 2 was a very good game. Good game. Um, Very good RPG for the 360. Fable 3, I thought Fable 3 was also a good game, but I've seen Angry Joe's review on Fable 3 and he said it sucked. I don't agree. I thought that Fable 3 was also pretty good. But Fable 2 is great. There's lots of beautiful environments and meadows and things. Fireflies flying around. And you get to be a good guy or a bad guy. You get to have sex with some people in the game. You get to steal shit, which is really awesome. Really cool that you can do that. But you can also be a good guy and help people, defend villagers and good people against bad people in the game. It was really good game, and I recommend it. Now we're at number, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're at number 6. Number 6 is Left 4 Dead. This game is great. It's a good first-person shooter game where there are 4 survivors, and it's during a zombie apocalypse, and the world's gone to hell, and the only people that are still alive are the survivors. Of course, 4 survivors in the game that you mainly play as. You get to play as one of the characters, and they're with you throughout the entire campaign. Although I know that there's some other survivors in the game, especially that last level where you get on a helicopter. There was a survivor there, so there's definitely more than 4 survivors in this game. But as far as the main characters go, there's 4. There's 2 guys and actually I think there's 3 guys and 1 girl. One's a girl, and it's just a really great game, a good first-person shooter game. And there are save points in the game where you save your game. That's where you actually go to bed. You sleep. Like there's one level in the game where you finally get through the doors. You lock the doors and it says saving game, and you all go to sleep and you wake up. It's the next day. You go on to your next mission. But the one thing I will say is that it was pretty short. It was only 3 or 4 levels in the entire game, but they were drawn out. They were longer than you'd expect. So it did take a while to beat, especially with all those zombies sneaking up on you. There's a witch in the game that sneaks up on you, a zombie witch. She was a pain in the ass to kill, but when you finally did kill her, you felt satisfied that that bitch died. Because screw that witch. Zombies actually vomit on you too, which is crazy. But yeah, all in all, a great game. I love it. A lot of people would agree with me that that is one of the best games you could get for 360. And adding to its greatness, at number 7 is Left 4 Dead 2, because it improved some things from the first game. There's a few more levels in the game. The zombies are brutal in the game. The campaign's a lot of fun. It's just a great game. I remember the level in the campaign where you found a car that you had to get started to get away from the zombies. You were in like some sort of mall or museum, I think. And, there were 2 You had to get at least 2 gas cans filled up with the whatchamacallit, in the car, to get the car started. And the first one I found pretty easily, but the second one was a little bit harder to find. So because of that reason, I got killed a few times. Playing it. It did take me a while to find that other gas can and get to the next level. But when all those zombies were there, they were on my ass. I had to have the AI in the game, shoot them a bit. So that way I wasn't like struggling to get it done. You know what I mean? Because they were trying to prevent you from progressing in the game. And they snuck up on you out of nowhere in certain parts of the game. So it was definitely challenging at that part. But yeah, I definitely recommend Left 4 Dead 2. It's a great game. Really fun. I could talk about it more, but I'm trying to save time. I want to make this video no more than 30 minutes. Number 8 is Batman Arkham City. I had to put a Batman game up on the list. I knew I couldn't leave Batman out, because Batman is the reason why my channel is called Batman Fan, because I am a Batman fan. This game was also released on PlayStation 3. Whichever system... Oh yeah, it was also ported to the Wii U as well. I forgot to mention that. I have the Wii U port of this game as well. But it's great on whatever console you choose to play it on. It's a lot of fun playing as Batman. There's parts in the beginning of the game where you have to save Catwoman from Two-Face. You fight the Joker in the game again. You fight Harley Quinn. You fight a bunch of bad guys on the street. You can fly through the city and get clues that the Riddler gives you. There's lots of exploring and lots of exploration in the game. And it's more open world than the first game. First game, I would say, was a bit more linear. But all in all, it was a great game, and I highly recommend it if you're a fan of action games or Batman games in general. It kicks butt. It really is an excellent game. Number 9 is Mass Effect 2. Out of all the Mass Effect games, this was the most impressive for me. I really did enjoy this game. You play as a guy named Shepard. You go through the levels, you shoot things, and there's also a lot of RPG elements in the game where you get to decide how the game progresses. What you want people to do on your ship, since you're the commander, you're the leader. Tell them to go fix up the ship's bottom, because some cargo stuff is about to fall out of it or some shit. Or there's some other shit in the game. It's not coming to me, I'm sorry. But yeah, there are parts of the game where you're not on the ship and you're shooting bad guys, aliens and stuff, and other humans. And it's done in a really good way, and it's a good third-person shooter / RPG game, and I recommend it if you have the 360. The first game was good, and the third game was also good, but stay away from the Mass Effect Andromeda game. That game really sucks. If you want a good one, you gotta play the original 3. Hang on. Number 10 is Quake 4. Really great first-person shooter. I highly recommend it if you have a 360. The campaign in that was awesome. Number 11 is Rock Band 2. It's a really fun music game. I know there's also Rock Band 1 and Rock Band 3. I have Rock Band 1 over there on the shelf for 360. They were also released on the Nintendo Wii and the PlayStation 3, but whatever console you get it on, as long as you have a microphone, guitar, or drum set, it really is a blast to play. I only have the microphone, so I sung a lot of these songs. Some songs were a bit more difficult for me because I didn't know the lyrics. I did, excuse me, poorly at it. So, and the thing is, if you do really bad, you get booed off the stage. So, just keep that in mind if you guys have this game. If you do good or you do moderately good, then you're still in the game and you can finish the song. There's lots of songs here that I love. Give It All by Rise Against. You got L7 with Pretend We're Dead. There's a song or two by the Beastie Boys, which is hip hop music, but they started out as a rock band, so that's why they were included here. You get songs by AC/DC, Let There Be Rock, AFI, Girls Not Grey, the Allman Brothers Band, Ramblin' Man, Avenged Sevenfold, Almost Easy, Beck, E-Pro, Blondie, One Way or Another, Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer, Bon Jovi, You Give Love a Bad Name, Disturbed, Down with the Sickness, and a bunch of other songs that are listed right here. There's like over 150 songs, maybe more, maybe 200. A lot of great songs for the game. And it's just a really fun music game. I highly recommend it. Number 12 is Battlefield Bad Company 2. Out of all the Battlefield games that were released on the 360, there were 4 that were released on the 360, although the 4th game was on multi-platforms. Also available on PlayStation 3. It's a really good first-person shooter game, a war shooter, and I recommend it if you guys have a 360. It's the best Battlefield game in my opinion out of all of them. This one definitely succeeded. It was a fun campaign, it was fun multiplayer, fun online, all around a great game. Can't complain. Let's see, is that 12? I want to make sure I didn't screw up my count here. Okay, so number 13, Borderlands pre-sequel. Great game. Could have also chosen Borderlands 1 or 2. They're all really good first-person shooters with a lot of looting going on, a lot of exploring. Graphics look amazing. They really do look mind-blowing and a lot of fun. I recommend it. I think I did 20, so this is going to be a top 20. I did. Alright, number 14 is Blue Dragon. Blue Dragon was exclusive to Xbox 360. It's a really great game. I recommend it. If you have a 360, it's a lot of fun. But definitely not better than Fable. I definitely did see a few flaws with the game. I didn't like some of the grinding in the game. I didn't like having to collect these jewels and shit. There were a few annoying things that just turned me off a little bit about the game. But if you can get past that, underneath it all, it's a great RPG game that I highly recommend you check out because it's a lot of fun. The funness outweighs the bad. Okay. Number 15 is Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Very good game. It was a really good game. I recommend it. It's a lot of fun to play. Okay, number 16, Fallout 3. Excellent game. Can't recommend it enough. It's a good first-person shooter / horror game and RPG. I really think that it's more of an RPG to me than a shooter or horror game. But it does combine all 3 elements into one game. And there's lots of exploring that you can do in the game, and it's just a lot of fun. And it's also available on PlayStation 3, and it's a really great game. Okay, we're at number 16. We got BioShock Infinite. It may not be as good as the first 2 BioShocks, but the graphics look amazing. I mean, they are mind-blowing. Like, even in 2023. Like, these graphics still blow me away with how damn good they looked back in 2013 or 2012. And then they still hold up to this day. Yeah, this game is awesome because of that. Now, the game doesn't have as much puzzle solving in the game, which for me, I like that. I actually don't like puzzle solving in first person shooters, but some people feel that that kind of took away from this enjoyment of what made this game special. That it was breaking away from its original roots and becoming more of a Call of Duty clone. Well, personally, it didn't bother me because of those few things that they changed. I thought it actually added to the enjoyment of the game. So I recommend it. It was a lot of fun. Um, Great game. Okay, now we're at number 18. I thought I said 16 before, but we're at number 18. I got Injustice: Gods Among Us Ultimate Edition. It has all the DLC and stuff. I don't know if the servers are available for this though, because they took down the servers on most Xbox 360 games. But it is a really great fighting game with the superhero DC characters. It plays Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Robin, Green Lantern, Batgirl. You get to play as the Joker. You get to play as Green Arrow. You get to play as the Flash. You get to play as, I think, Deathstroke. There's lots of great characters you can play as. You can play as Harley Quinn. You put it in a fighting game and it kicks butt. It was done well. And that's why they went on to make the sequel of Injustice 2, which I beat that game as well. That game was a blast. Hopefully they'll come back with Injustice 3. But I don't know if they ever will. But hopefully they do for PS5 and Xbox Series X. But yeah, it's a really fun game and I recommend it if you like fighting games. Okay, number 19 is Prince of Persia. Really fun game, I recommend it. It was a good game. It's an action game. Play as a guy who's got like a sword, go through levels, jumping from left platform to platform, left to right, and climbing up things, killing people with your sword. It was a blast, a lot of fun. I highly recommend it if you have a 360. Number 20, I wanted to put a racing game on the list. Besides Burnout Paradise and Need for Speed, what else could be on there that I think would solidify worthy of a spot? Because I'm not a big fan of Forza. So if I'm not a big fan of Forza, and I don't really have Burnout, I only have one Need for Speed game for 360 currently, that leaves me with this. MX vs. ATV Alive. I really like the MX games. When they combine the ATVs together where you could drive either one, it really does make this game a blast. Makes it a lot of fun to play. And I have a blast playing it. There's been many MX versus ATV games. They've made Fallout or All Out on the Switch, which I own. And there was a MX versus ATV Untamed back on the PS2 and PSP days. I think it was also on Xbox. Then they had another MX game versus ATV on 360 Reflex, which that one wasn't as good, but yeah, anyways, this is a great game, great series. I recommend it if you like those type of racing games. They're a lot of fun and definitely a blast to play, especially if you have friends come by. Then you can really have fun. That's when the game really stands out. But it's still fun to play alone. It's just, it plays better if you have somebody to play with. More competitive. So, the games that I recommend for 360 is Hunted, The Demon Forge. That's a really fun game. Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 5, World at War, which I do have over on the shelf. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty Black Ops, obviously fun, especially when they introduced the zombies in the game. It was definitely a nice touch. The campaign, however, is not very long. That's one of the reasons why I didn't put it on my list. Because I beat the campaign in 4 or 5 hours, which is pathetic. They should have taken more time. Crytek and Activision, you suck for making bullshit campaigns. Like, make these campaigns at least 15 to 20 hours long, then that's actually worth it. But other than that, minor complaint, the game still plays excellent. It's a shame that they've kind of milked the series of Call of Duty. Call of Duty's gotten boring and stale, and they want more money. You got to pay servers for, different armor and suits and stuff, and I think that's ridiculous. Call of Duty Black Ops 2, very good game. I'm just going to go through and kind of show you guys what I got. I'm not going to say too much because I want to save time. We're already at 26 minutes. Gears of War Judgment, and also Gears of War 3. I have Gears of War 2 somewhere, I just haven't been able to find it. But I recommend all the Gears of War games on 360. They're great games. It's one of the only exclusive games for 360 besides Fable and Halo. Got Monopoly of the Streets, very fun game. It's just not as fun though by yourself. It's better to play with other friends, but it's still a good game, still a lot of fun. You can play classic mode in this game, or you can play the updated versions of the game, but I always play classic mode. It's my preferred way of playing. Here we got Mass Effect 1 and 3. Both excellent games. If you have a 360, I recommend them. They're some of the best shooter slash third person shooter slash RPG games that you can get. Assassin's Creed 2. This was at the pinnacle of Assassin's Creed. Out of all the Assassin's Creed games, they have now 12, 13, 14 games. They've milked this series to death, and it's just not a good series anymore. But the first 4 and Brotherhood and Revelations are excellent games. But this one is definitely the best. If you're going to play Assassin's Creed, this is the one I recommend you play. Lord of the Rings War in the North. This was surprisingly a good licensed game for the 360. I recommend it. It was a good action RPG game where you fight demons and you fight these other monsters like these orcs in the game and other like birds and shit. It's fun. It's a good game and I recommend it. Sleeping Dogs. This was supposed to be the third true crime game, but instead they lost the license, so they changed the name to Sleeping Dogs. It's a good game. Kind of plays a little bit like Grand Theft Auto, but then in its own right, it's its own thing. But it's still a really good game. I highly recommend it. It's got shooting in it and like kung fu fighting mixed with driving. Tom Clancy Splinter Cell Conviction. It was inevitable. I was going to put a Tom Clancy game up here. I actually caught Pastime Legends slipping because this game they had 3 or 4 copies of and wanted $9 for, but this copy they only wanted $1 for. So, caught him slipping. Got the game for $1. And the game's a good game. It's a good stealth game with Sam Fisher. I never beat it though because it's very difficult. Later levels get to be a chore to get through because of how difficult they are. But it was really fun from what I played. Really fun. Next we have Inversion. I thought Inversion was a pretty good game, but some people didn't like Inversion. The levels were kind of linear and wasn't exactly clear on where you're supposed to go. It was you and one other guy throughout the campaign. But I thought it was a decent game where you get to blow shit up. excuse me, and blow up environments and stuff. It was just a really good game overall. I didn't mind it so much. Thought it was pretty good. The shooting mechanics worked well in the game. The last two games that I want to highlight um, is Marvel vs. Capcom 3, a very fun fighting game where you get to play as Marvel characters such as Spider-Man, Hulk, She-Hulk, Daredevil, and Thor. And then you also get to play as some of the Street Fighter characters such as Ryu, Vega, Chun-Li, M. Bison, and Dhalsim. Oh yeah, and you also get to play as Iron Man for Marvel side. You choose like 2 or 3 different characters and then you put them in the fighting game and you go against each other. And it's just really fun. And it's very competitive if you have friends to play with. The game was also released on PlayStation 3. And then we have Battlefield 3, which is also a great game. It's also available on PlayStation 3. Really good first-person shooter in the Battlefield world, and I highly recommend it. It's a good game. Oh, I also did want to mention Singularity, because that game is a blast. That was a definite must. That's a very interesting first-person shooter for the Xbox 360. And I do own that game, but I couldn't find it. I've been looking for it, but I know I have it on the shelf somewhere. And I also wanted to say that Lost Odyssey is a great role-playing game for the 360 and highly recommend that game as well because it's a long game, but it's a very fun game and it's just a really great RPG, and there weren't very many RPG games that were released on the 360, so I recommend that too. Burnout Paradise, Burnout Revenge, Need for Speed, Most Wanted, Need for Speed Shift, Need for Speed Shift 2 Unleashed, Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection, 007 James Bond Quantum of Solace, James Bond 007 Legends, James Bond Bloodstone, Max Payne 3, and also Resident Evil 5. Even though that game got a lot of hate, I still liked it. And Resident Evil 6 was also good, but they just weren't as scary as the first 4 Resident Evil games. That's why people hated those games. But I don't think that they were bad games, even though they weren't that scary. So those are some of the games that I recommend for the 360 and my top 15 games. I hope Tech 2D Gamer will get back to me with a response. Hopefully soon. I'll see the collab video from Jack of Gold Kick because he's working on a collab video for us both. So anyways, this is all I really got to say. I hope you guys enjoyed my top 15 Xbox 360 games. Please leave down in the comments below what games you think were some of your favorites. I'd like to know. I always enjoy having a conversation. You can leave whatever comments you want, and I will not ban any of the comments unless you are disrespectful. Alright, God bless you all, and take care, and have a wonderful day. Peace.